Yeah, we are almost sold out for the Platinum Night. Any idea what topic we should do?
Maybe something that's controversial that we've been shying away from or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea.
Motherfucker.
I don't care how many alerts you set on your phone. You can't prepare for gunshots.
Yeah, well, welcome to Chicago, though. I mean,
Eli, what the fuck is going on, man?
Oh, hey, Noah. Tom, time out. Ow, Tom, I said time out.
oh, yeah, sorry. My bad.
Yeah. Hey, guys, so this week is the Tulsa race riot. So I thought, we could all get into the spirit.
Eli, what does the laminated sign on the wall say?
Which sign on the wall? Which one are you discussing about?
You know which one.
Oh, that one. It says number 1, no blackface.
Any reason why you are skipping the number 1 rule, even though Cecil made such a nice sign?
I laminated it and everything. I totally laminated it.
Because it's a race riot and one of us had to be black. Otherwise, it's be inconsistent. And
Tom, what does number 2 say? It says no guns. What?
Right. Oh, but honestly, I think the topic is breaking the rules, not us. If you think about it,
I'm there, right there.
And what does number 3 say?
It says no race wars, but I thought that rule was only for Heath.
Guys, I tied up delivery guy, but he is not happy.
It is.
Ow, bit me.
Hello and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts, because this is the internet, and that's how it works now. I'm No Illusions, and I'll be running this lab to see if that tumor's benign, but I can't do it alone. First up, a guy who can't grab an Erlenmeyer flask without breaking it, and a guy who won't touch anything because of icky germs, Tom and Eli.
Yeah, all right, that is not even true, and I don't know why everyone keeps talking like I have a very gentle touch. And these quiet, sleepy rabbits can attest to it. There's a nice pile of them, and they love me back.
Germs have no money and are therefore poor and are therefore gross. It's pretty easy. Find me a germ with money.
No, I get it. It's consistent. It's consistent. And also joining us tonight, another guy who has to wear his hair in a bun with a pencil through it to keep it out of the Bunsen burner, Cecil.
It's a chopstick, Noah. I ate an entire Chinese person for lunch.
Call back to the
just
skit.
hand those out. Yeah.
Yes, there you go. Speaking of which, Heath is out this week with a bad bite from a delivery guy. Patrons, you guys are awesome. We just want you to know that this show is possible due to your generosity, and if you'd like to be a generous, wonderful person who helps make this show happen, be sure to stick around to the end of the show, and we'll tell you how. And with that out of the way, Eli, tell us, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event will we be talking about today?
Today, we'll be talking about the Tulsa race riot. But please note that you can also get this page on Wikipedia by typing in Tulsa Massacre or just America hates black people how much. It works every...
All right, so Cecil, you found this article, and are you ready to tell the audience about the biggest travesty they probably never heard about?
I am, and I have to admit that I had no idea that this event even happened as little as a few weeks ago. I saw a Facebook post that mentioned it, and I looked into it, and I could not believe that this is the first time I'd actually heard about it.
Yeah, no, I too was surprised that you'd never heard about it.
Well, I can't think of a more sensitive, thoughtful, and diverse group of people to tackle this story, guys. Here we go.
I'm just going through this going like, I'm going to make jokes about this. That's great.
Thank God the racist has the week off.
Finally, right?
So in order to tell you about the riot/massacre itself, I have to set the stage on what Tulsa was like at the time. Oklahoma became a state in 1907, and shortly after its inception, they passed segregation and voting laws to disenfranchise the blacks.
Right, because they had to make sure right away that something was worse than being a white person in Oklahoma. I get it.
That's fair. Yep.
Whoa. Hey. White people have it the worst. It's hard sometimes to remember that, but now we have a whole administration to remind us. So that's good.
It's a new governmental agency.
Oklahoma also had a lot of lynchings. In the 17 years between Oklahoma becoming a state and this race riot, there were 31 people lynched, and 26 of those people were black. They also had an ordinance that, quote, mandated residential segregation, by forbidding blacks or whites from residing on any block where 3/4 or more of the residents were of the other race, end quote.
Sorry, little thing. The other 5 lynchings were what? People who chewed with their mouth open? It just seems weird. 26 people.
That's fair. That's just justice, Eli. A little PSA here, guys, from us to you. Like, if you're over the age of 13 and you can't figure out how to chew with your fucking mouth closed, you deserve what's coming to you. That's on you.
Amen.
That's
sir.
official canon now. That's what we think as a show.
So there were a lot of people returning from World War I, and the jobs were scarce and the competition high. There were actually riots all over the country in what eventually would be called the Red Summer. Blacks thought they deserved full citizenship for fighting in World War I, and there were riots, quote, most often led against blacks by ethnic whites among recent immigrant groups who competed with blacks for jobs.
Yeah, I'm here for the job.
You're black.
Well, yeah, but I mean, look at my resume.
But that guy is white.
Oh, no. I'll give you that. But I mean, like, he's also paralyzed from the neck down and in a persistent vegetative state.
Well, right, but a white persistent vegetative state.
I hate Oklahoma.
Everybody hates
That
Oklahoma.
should be on the license plate.
Oh, a white persistent vegetative state, Oklahoma.
So on May 31st, 1921, in the midst of all this racial tension, a guy named Dick Rowland, who was a black 19-year-old shoe shiner, went into the Drexel building and used the elevator. I know, guys, Tulsa had a place with an elevator. Okay, I know, showstopper. The elevators back then were the old-timey human operator ones where there's a person who sat inside. Well, someone on the first floor, who's just sitting on the first floor, heard a woman scream, and then they watched a black guy run out, and a woman was the operator of the elevator.
Okay, all right, but to be fair, if he wasn't guilty, then why was he black? I mean, it's just the facts here.
Yeah. Now, no one knows what happened. There are 3 theories. It was a lover's quarrel, which is not something that either party would admit to in that racial climate. He might have tripped and grabbed on her by accident, or he might have groped or assaulted her. And now everyone that knew Dick was totally sure that he wouldn't be up for that.
I mean, or she just screamed because there was a black guy. I've been to Oklahoma. I know how that state works, right?
You see how much better things have gotten, black people? Now when you grope someone in an elevator, you get to be the head of Def Jam Productions. See, it's way...
I just want to say, like, I
Way
can't
better
believe I
now.
missed the dick who wasn't up for that joke. That's just like low-hanging fruit at the end of your
Right
line there.
Right there. It was right there for you. But nobody took it. Nobody took that dick that was just hanging right there. We're moving
There's
on.
a big black dick
The
that's
moving
just
on.
story of
waiting.
Cecil's
Sorry,
life
guys.
right
There was a
there.
BBC waiting for you. So there was a report made, but the women didn't press charges. Dick Rowland decided to head home to his mother's house in the black neighborhood of Greenwood. This area, Tulsa, was actually pretty prosperous, and a lot of black business owners and professionals like doctors and lawyers had shops here. It was actually called the Black Wall Street.
All right, now there's a joke here about the size of Black Wall Street, but
yeah.
that's low-hanging fruit, like lower than White Wall Street for sure, a few inches.
Especially if it's a
Definitely.
hot day. Absolutely.
What you need is a fearless girl.
Yeah. The next day, the police grabbed Dick off the street.
Me
and
too.
They send a detective, Henry Carmichael, and one of the force's 2 black police officers, Henry Pack, to Greenwood area and pick up Dick Rowland. They take him to the police headquarters.
Okay, so making it to headquarters puts Tulsa ahead of modern day Ferguson and Baltimore.
That's true.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not inaccurate.
Hurt. Oh my God. Nation, that is you not healing. Now, it's unclear how everything escalated from this point. But if your first guess is bigotry, then let me stop you right there and congratulate you on scoring 100 points on this quiz. There was a call to the police station at this point threatening Rowland's life, and there was 2 headlines put out that day from a white sensationalist newspaper. One read, quote, "Nab Negro for attacking girl in an elevator," end quote, and the other read, quote, "To lynch Negro tonight," end quote.
Jesus.
Aw, Rupert Murdoch's first headline, guys. It's adorable.
Hold on a minute. See, so they took out a lynching ad in the newspaper?
Right?
The missed connection section was fucking weird, man.
I just love that, like, after they said nab Negro for attack, no, that's too subtle, guys. Just lynch Negro.
What do we do when we nab them? Get the other paper over there.
Yeah, get the evening edition.
They should have got like a radio ad where the guy's like, Sunday. So at 3 p.m., the lynching edition of the newspaper hits the streets.
Jesus.
And by about sunset, which was around 7:30, there are several hundred white people outside the place where Dick Rowland is being held. Sheriff McCullough decides to fortify the courthouse where Rowland is by disabling the elevator, by putting shooters on the roof, placing armed people outside the room he is in and in the stairwells. Goes out and he tries to quiet the crowd, but to no avail. He was shouted down. At a little after 8, 3 guys walk in and they demand that they turn over Rowland to the crowd. They don't list why they wanted him, but it's safe to say they probably didn't want him to just like inflict aggressive tickles or something.
It's an assumption.
The sheriff basically told him no.
They just walk in, but we filed the paperwork.
I keep telling you, there's no paperwork you can file to lynch a guy.
No, that can't be right. Look at this here newspaper, right?
Oh, yeah? Well, what's it say?
I was hoping you'd read it and just, let
you just kill a guy.
Yes, that is what I was hoping would happen.
Well, I keep telling you, that ain't how it works here in Oklahoma.
No, I miss Alabama. Never should have moved.
At one point, the folks in the black neighborhood of Greenwood decide to grab guns and head to the sheriff's office to help with the barricade. These are World War I vets, and they're concerned because recently the previous sheriff had let a white guy accused of murder get lynched by a mob. So when they arrive, the sheriff assured them that there'd be no lynching, and he sent them away.
Yeah, he's like, I got it. No, see, it's under control. Those pitchforks are in case they have to pile up a lot of hay. Set it on fire with those torches.
Yeah, the white lynching was just an affirmative action thing. That's right. They had to meet a quota. That's fine.
You gotta do
unfair.
It's a token lynching. And now the group of white folks that were gathered at the courthouse, they see a group of armed black folks walk up. Naturally, they do the only rational thing and run home and get their guns. But 300 or 400 of them decide to go to the local National Guard armory to take guns.
Of course.
The mob shows up there, tries to rip the grating off a window to get inside of the armory, and they're met by armed National Guardsmen and Major James Bell, who convinces them otherwise. He had, I guess, read the newspaper and stationed guards around the armory. Bell says, you can have the guns, but I get to provide the bullets at 2,500 feet per second. And the mob basically declined the offer at that point.
There was one guy who didn't get the inference and was like, I feel like that's too fast for, okay, I'm going.
There's another guy just running around trying to pick up the spent bullets like Nerf darts. Like, hang on, I'm reloading. Hang on.
So cut back to the courthouse, and the mob is up to 2,000 people at this point.
Oh, wow.
Several people, including a reverend and the chief of police, try to talk the mob into going home. Doesn't work. And the black folks are getting more and more nervous.
I wonder why.
Weird. They keep sending small groups of armed black people to check to see if they got in the courthouse. And the mob interprets it as, quote, a Negro uprising, end quote. They start firing their guns in the air because that's the best way to de-escalate the situation.
Well, or one of them just grossly misinterpreted uprising. Weren't they flying now? Are they flying?
I knew they were uppity. It's a racist dad joke. There we go.
Now, the rumor mill is in full spin in Greenwood, and 75 armed black men head back to the courthouse. They again offer to help protect Dick Rowland. So one uppity white guy from the mob goes up to the men and he demands the pistol they have. The black guy refuses and a shot's fired. Not sure what side fired the shot or if it was accidental, but that basically triggered the riot.
Later, historians would examine archival footage and discover that the first shot was actually a black guy eating a Skittles. So,
I see.
So there's a gun battle right there. Oh, by the way, I just want to roll back here real quick. That's the last we're going to hear of Dick Rowland. Dick Rowland rides this entire thing out on the top of the police. He's totally, safe in police custody.
Safe, yeah.
But we never hear anything about him Later on he'll be acquitted, but we never hear anything. The entire riot.
I wondered about that. Like
that's it. That's the end of it. That's the end of his story.
How do you think that guy feels when it's all like, I'm real sorry, guys. Whoopsie. I tripped in the elevator. Oh boy. Okay, I'm taking the stairs next time.
Sorry,
Or
guys.
does he just go home and tell his 4 remaining family members, no, I'm fine. It's okay.
Every time they got in an elevator with Dick from now on, everyone was like, hey, Dick, you okay? You got it? You got your firm footing, buddy? Because I would love for all of us not to die. So, you got it, right? 3, 2, 1, and we're in the elevator. There we go.
So there is a gun battle after this shot's fired. The first dead are 10 white guys and 2 black guys. The black group starts to retreat towards Greenwood, and the white group pursues them. On the way, of course, they shoot every black person they come across and loot stores with weapons. They come across a group of people that had just come out of a movie and fire on all the black people in the crowd.
Jesus.
But in the confusion, one white person is killed by the white mob. So, oopsie.
Wow. We're down 8 and we score an own goal. This is why our race shouldn't be allowed to sport, guys. Because we end up shooting black people.
I like that they stopped to loot. Like, the blacks are rioting. We got to stop them. Right after I helped myself to... Wait, what the fuck is there to loot in 1920? What are you taking? What do you like, mops? What is there to have fun with in 1920?
Pitchforks. Yeah. I want to quote Wikipedia here. I don't have much to add to this part. Quote, many prominent white Tulsans also participated in the riot, including Tulsa founder and KKK member W. Tate Brady, who participated in the riot as a night watchman. I don't know.
They assigned roles in the riot? I like that.
I wonder if they had jerseys. I don't even know. He reported seeing, quote, 5 dead Negroes, end quote, including one man who was dragged behind a car by a noose around his neck.
Fuck.
End quote.
Okay. So that's terrible. And it was 100 years ago. And I can understand why that's upsetting. But I hear that college kids have been yelling at people, guys. Yelling. Yelling. So
I actually got to say, I can't even imagine how a town founded by a KKK member could have turned out differently. What was the alternative timeline here?
I guess.
Right?
I guess. The National Guard and other forces start to gather around Greenwood. Now, it's said that they're there to try to subdue the rioters, but they really just set up to protect the white neighborhoods around Greenwood. They're also capturing and detaining black people at a convention hall at this point.
Convention hall? There's just a bunch of black guys sweaty and covered in blood, standing around the bar in the convention center trying to look casual, chatting with bewildered insurance salesmen.
Definitely not hitting on white women. Definitely not hitting on white women.
You come here often? No, I don't. No, I've never been here before. I gotta go. Don't get in the elevator, guys. Whatever we do, ground floor.
Stairs are nothing for us.
Yeah. All right. So now that this is getting good, and by good, I mean horrible to the point that it stains our nation to the 5th generation, we're going to pause for a quick break here, aren't we?
Yeah, I have to splice in a commercial for a live show, so I'll have to stop for a break.
Right,
here.
because we need to tell people about the Platinum Night on Friday, August 10th, and that we're doing the JonBenet Ramsey episode as the subject.
Wait, what? What did you say?
Nothing. Let's do the apropos of nothing thing. Don't worry your pretty little head about it, Cecil.
No, wait. What did you say? Do not cut to the... No music. Do not cut.
Hey, podcast listener.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
So, I got really high last night, and I told Eli that during our...
Tom, where are my charts?
Eli, I am on the toilet.
Where are my charts, Tomilton?
I got really high, and I told Eli that he could do the JonBenet Ramsey episode for Platinum Night.
Noah, have you seen my tiara?
Just check your tiara drawer, Eli. So if you haven't already, get tickets for Platinum Night, because we will never, ever record this episode, and we might make you sign something promising to never tell anyone about it.
Is this really all the fake blood we have?
Eli, that is not fake. That's for my arteries.
Well, then we need more.
Tickets in the show notes. Please don't tell anyone.
Stop struggling.
And and we're back. And now that we pretty much figured out our differences on the Platinum Night, I guess we're ready to get back to the Tulsa Riot story.
We are not ready. No, wait. We are not.
Let's not just fight about this, Cecil. Let's get back to the stories.
We are not doing that,
Let's
Eli.
just agree to disagree, and that we are, and that's what
we are not
going to do it.
Guys,
so don't worry
guys,
about
guys,
it.
can we please get back to the story?
Yeah, racism. Let's talk about it.
I will begrudgingly table this and continue because I'm a fucking professional.
Gonna get a melon.
Throughout the night and into the next day, there's basically a gun battle, and the front lines are train tracks that separate the white and black neighborhoods.
Of course.
The white group starts throwing burning oily rags into the black-owned buildings and starting fires. Then they turned away the fire department trying to put these fires out, and they turned them away at gunpoint.
Okay, no. I'm very confused right now. Can somebody help? Is this the most or the second most racist use of fire hoses? How are we scoring this?
Is it number of tiers?
I don't know. How is it when you use it, but you're not supposed to, or when you're supposed to and you don't? I don't know.
So one group of black folks decides to stay and fight, and the others decide to leave en masse. At sunrise, there is either a train whistle or a siren that goes off, and I guess the assembled white mob decided it was their makeshift bugle charge, and they stormed the neighborhood. One white guy gets immediately killed as he heads in by a sniper. Another car full of guys drives in and gets killed within a block. There's just too many white folks, and they're basically killing and shooting anything black at this point. On occasion, I guess they're rounding them up for detention, and they're also looting too.
Of course.
Yeah, no, back then it was still called looting, even if white people did it. I want to point out, we're coming up with all kinds of great Oklahoma slogans. The too many white folks one would work too.
I like it.
You know, the real tragedy here is that siren is just someone playing the opening theme from the Flintstones. The volume too high. Like, this didn't even need to happen.
Yep.
I felt like such an asshole afterwards.
Turn it down.
You'll have a gay old time. Now, the wiki says that several planes were used to shoot at and drop fire bombs on the neighborhood.
Fuck. What?
These planes were leftover trainers from World War I.
I'm going to go back to what the fuck?
And law
What?
enforcement said that they were using planes for reconnaissance and to stop a, quote, Negro uprising, unquote.
By
And
dropping
planes.
fire bombs on it. Shut up, Larry. Shut up. Reconnaissance.
Wait, Cecil, hold on. What the fuck? World War What? Did they just let them keep their planes as souvenirs afterwards?
A big giant keychain on the
Right.
end.
Well, war's over. Your prize is this airplane. Like, what the fuck?
So while all of this is going on, the white uprising is now spreading on the Greenwood neighborhood. They're traveling to people's houses and businesses that employed blacks and demanding that they're turned over to go to detention centers. And most of these people just complied.
Bring out your dead. We don't have any. Bam! Let's try it again. Bring out your dead.
Okay.
Thousands of black people at this point are just fleeing the city for safety. The National Guard comes in on a train at 9:15 a.m. on the June 1st. Here comes the cavalry, right? The commanding officer couldn't act right away until he had proper authorization from local officials, so he decided to start the day with a balanced breakfast.
Nice, good call.
After dabbing a napkin carefully on each side of his face, he declared martial law at 11:49 a.m.
Well, you don't want to rush these things.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, but let's be fair, guys. This is the National Guard, all right? I'm not sure we should expect more out of these guys.
That is
National Guard, we'll come to your town and eat breakfast.
true. That is exclusively for people who were convinced to join the military by the movies.
Yeah, right. This is not the actual army, right? We all know this.
So there's a list of bullet points that is in the wiki page, and this is as they appeared in a letter that was sent about the riot and what the National Guard took part in. Quote, taking about 30 to 40 African Americans into custody.
Baltimore PD's going, psh.
Putting a machine gun on a truck and taking it on patrol.
Okay.
Otherwise, why put it on the truck if you're not taking it on
Well, yeah,
patrol?
it's-
Being fired on from Negro snipers from the, quote, church, end quote, and returning fire. Being fired on by white men.
Yeah, notice that one doesn't have returning fire on it. I feel like those last two could just be combined as one fired on bullet point.
Yeah.
But okay, whatever,
Well,
National
no,
Guard.
Segregation was real.
Yeah. When the white guys shoot at them, they're like, "Oh, you scamps!"
Bam, bam. Was that a white bullet? Was that a black bullet? Fuck. Can someone see if the color of that bullet?
Turning the prisoners over to deputies to take them to police headquarters, being fired upon again by Negroes, and having 2 non-commissioned officers slightly wounded, searching for Negroes and firearms, detailing a non-commissioned officer to take 170 Negroes to civil authorities, and delivering an additional 150 Negroes to the convention hall.
Okay, I just want to say this might be the most appropriate use of the word bullet points ever. Just it's the right call on this one.
And I would just like to add, end quote, the whole thing with all the
Yeah,
word
that
Negro
was-
in it 44
yeah,
times.
that was-
That was not Cecil choosing his own words there. That was a quote.
That's
So how many people ultimately died in this thing?
So the casualty numbers are all over the fucking place. Here's several sources and their estimates. The Tulsa Tribune originally reported 9 white and 6 black people died. They changed that to a total of 176 dead, and then they changed it the next day to 9 white, 21 black people dead. The New York Times said that 77 people were killed, 68 were black. And then they changed that number to 33 total dead. Richmond Times-Dispatch reported 25 white and 65 black people killed. And they also reported that the police chief said it was 75 people total when reporting the number to the governor. And a lower police official said that it was 175. The Red Cross estimated that was 300. Really, we have no clue what that number was.
All right, yeah, but to be fair, the math was hard because they kept having to multiply everything by 3/5, and it's just like the whole thing.
Sure.
Yeah, well, back then all they did was just cancel out the fractions, Tom.
Puerto Rico was really hoping newspapers hadn't gotten any better since 1921. They were like, yeah, 40 people died, 20 people died. Who knows? Am I right? Sue us.
Most of the people that went to a hospital, about 800, were white because the black hospital was burned down.
Oh, my God.
Over 6,000 black people were arrested and detained. The wiki says, quote, several blacks were known to have died while in the internment centers. While most of the deaths were said to have been accurately recorded, no records have been found as to how many detainees were treated for injuries and survived. These numbers could reasonably have been more than 1,000, perhaps several thousand, end quote.
I mean, this was before drug laws, so like, how else are you going to throw innocent black people in jail? Am I right? Yeah. Tough to do it.
I just want to say, like, I just learned that there used to be black hospitals, I guess, which we still have, but much less officially.
Right.
Now.
Right.
I guess.
It's true, and you know it.
I mentioned earlier the black hospital was burned down, but that was only one of 191 businesses that were burned down in the riot. They also burned down 1,256 houses. 215 houses made it out lucky, and they were only looted.
That's nice.
Total property losses were about 31 million in today's money.
Jesus. I feel like you could nuke Tulsa tomorrow and not do $31 million in damage, right?
Just falls into a strip mine. You're just like, no, that's it.
Like,
that's
yeah,
about
we're at
750.
40.
Yeah, it's about 750.
Some guy just reaches into his pocket and opens his wallet. He's like, can you make change?
So the Red Cross said that about 10,000 people were without homes and displaced.
All right, yeah, still, being homeless might give those people a chance to leave Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So this isn't all bad. There's an upside here.
The governor ordered an inquiry, and an all-white jury basically blamed the black community for starting the riot.
Of course.
They said that the police failed to prevent the riot, and in the end, no one was ever convicted of any murders, the property damage, or the injuries.
All right, yeah. To be fair, though, one of those guys was selling cigarettes without a license. You know, there's blame on both sides.
Right, exactly.
Choke that guy out. A former mayor and current judge said at a meeting of 1,000 businessmen in Tulsa after this happened, quote, Tulsa can only redeem herself from the countrywide shame and humiliation into which she is today plunged by complete restitution and rehabilitation of the destroyed Black Belt. The rest of the United States must know that the real citizenship of Tulsa weeps at this unspeakable crime, and we will make good the damage so far as it can be done to the last penny, end quote. The next line of the wiki says that many blacks spent that winter in tents and they never raised money to help the black community.
Huh.
Okay, but who paid for the tents?
FEMA re-education camps. I'm telling you guys, no one's listening. FEMA re-education camps.
So the next year, that same judge comes out and he says, okay, shot a little too high last time, didn't I? How about we just at least stop fist pumping about this? Huh?
Here's that, right?
So this entire event was never really talked about.
Until today. We're breaking news.
They didn't mention it in the papers in this day in history sections. And the first academic account is 25 years later and it didn't get any attention because it's a master thesis. And who the hell reads those?
Oh, no.
Right.
This didn't make it to the Lynchy Times or whatever the fuck they were publishing back then. Then no news is fake news. Just saying.
In 1996, they started a commission to investigate the riot around its 75th anniversary. The commission suggested the following to make amends. 1, direct payment of reparations to survivors of the 1921 Tulsa race riot. 2, direct payment of reparations to descendants of the survivors of the Tulsa race riot. 3, a scholarship fund available to students affected by the Tulsa race riot. 4, establishment of an economic development enterprise zone in the historic area of the Greenwood District. And 5, a memorial for the reburial of the remains of the victims of the Tulsa race riot.
There's a commission to investigate on the 75th. I'm just glad they acted swiftly and decisively.
Yeah, right.
3/4 of a century later.
The state voted on it in the legislature, and they agreed to the following. More than 300 college scholarships for descendants of Greenwood residents, the creation of a memorial to those who died in the riot, a park with statues was dedicated as John Hope Franklin Reconciliation Park on October 27th of 2010, named in honor of a notable African-American historian from Tulsa, and economic development in Greenwood. So I guess win-win. I don't know.
Worth it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard, Cecil. You can't turn every city that massacred thousands of people into color into repatriation centers because then all of America would be a giant. Never mind. I take it. I don't.
Move on.
Episode is over.
All right, Cecil. So if you had to summarize what you've learned in one sentence, what would it be?
I should have listened in history class. Oh, who am I kidding? They never mentioned this in history class.
No, they don't. No, not at all. All right. Are you ready to face a fusillade of fake questions from our fake experts?
I couldn't be more ready, Noah.
All right, Cecil. Well, today was a depressing as fuck episode. So let's shine some light on the subject. Why should people come listen to me do the Jean-Benet Ramsey episode at Platinum Night for the Chicago Live Show? Is it A, Cecil got outvoted while Heath was out of town? B, I have props and melon-based reenactments planned?
Of course you do.
C,
Jesus Christ.
there are only a few tickets left for Platinum Night, so don't miss it. Or D, based on the script that I've written so far, not only will we never record this episode, but we may have to kill everyone that attends to keep our terrible, terrible secrets.
I'm going to go with the theme of tonight and go with D.
Yeah. So, yeah, buy those tickets at your own risk, I guess. All right, I got one for you. This riot probably explains the lack of African American tourism in the Tulsa area, but that's not an intractable problem. So which of the following slogans will Tulsa soon unveil to recapture those lost tourist dollars?
This will be good.
God.
A, Tulsa, some of our best friends are black. B, what happens in Tulsa stays in Tulsa because there's nobody there to witness it. So it's like, seriously, the streets, at least in Oklahoma City, just barren. Anyway. Okay, so C, Tulsa, Oklahoma has moved on to hating gay people now. Come on. Or D, this is my favorite, Tulsa, closer to not in Oklahoma anymore than Oklahoma City.
Ooh, appealing.
Those are good ones.
Definitely C.
It is C. It is
They
C.
are hating the gays.
Oklahomophobia, they call it. Yeah.
All right, Cecil, Oklahoma is, I think we can all agree, a mistake.
4 votes.
We should fix that. So what are some options for what to do with it after we move everyone out of it into a real state? A, burn it down. Again, but like less racistly.
Right, exactly.
Like, dude, it's less
Even
racistly.
burning, just a straight
Time.
My
Is that word?
spell check
That's
is
okay.
not underlining that at all. Racistly is a word, apparently.
Oh, gosh, that's a great word.
Okay. Option 2, fine. You didn't like that. B, fill it with fuckable androids a la Westworld, and then burn it down.
That still makes more sense than the plot of season 2. So, yeah.
High five for 2. I'm digging 2.
Or C, turn it into a pig farm so really no change is necessary at all.
Right, just leave it.
I'm going to go with fuckable androids.
You always go with fuckable
You
androids.
should see my credit card.
I'm sorry, the answer was not fuckable android this time. It usually
the
is,
answer's
Cecil.
always fuckable
It
androids.
usually
strong
is.
disagree.
I disagree on that.
But this is Oklahoma. Their women are actually cheaper than their androids. So,
That's right. And
That'll
less sentient,
make-
so it works out for everybody.
And you can kill them without getting in trouble. So, yeah.
all right. So it looks like, Tom, you're our winner this week.
All right. Well, next week, Eli, you're up, buddy.
Yay!
All right. Hooray for all of us. Now I guess I'll toss it over to Sarah for last week's Twitter answer and this week's Twitter question.
Thanks, Noah. Last week's question was, if you were Judge Roy Bean, what sentence would you levy on Eli for his various crimes against humanity? The answer comes from Mark on Facebook with this. Eli should be forced to eat his own vegan cuisine. This week's assignment is, write a whimsical haiku about the Tulsa Massacre. A haiku is a poem of 3 unrhymed lines of 5, 7, and 5 syllables. Just retweet or Facebook share this episode with your haiku for a chance to be next week's winner. Back to you, Noah.
All right. Well, for Cecil, Eli, Tom, and usually Heath, I'm Noah. Thanking you for hanging out with us today, but we're back next week. And by then, Eli will be an expert on something else. Between now and then, you can hear more from Tom and Cecil on cognitive dissonance and more from Eli and me on God-Awful Movies, The Scathing Atheist, and The Skeptocrat. And if you'd like to help keep this show going, you can make a per-episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod or leave us a 5-star review everywhere you can. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, check out past episodes, connect with us on social media, or check the show notes, be sure to check out citationpod.com.
From the director of Cold Cocked and Last Action Hero comes a new adventure, bursting with turn-of-the-century bigotry.
There's a new fucking sheriff in town.
In Tulsa, Oklahoma, things are about to explode.
Miggsy, take him upstairs. I don't want to see any marks on him, except the ones you put there, beating rape confessions out of him. But not the fucking racist ones.
And when they came to get him, Sheriff McCullough stood strong.
You let us in there and lynch that rapist, Sheriff.
Hey, nobody's fucking getting in here, you hear?
You know what, Sheriff? You aren't as racist as I thought you were.
Oh, come
Right.
on. That fucking hurts, Charlie. You know if this was a Chinese guy, I'd let you guys up there in a second.
And when it boils over, he did what he had to do.
Sheriff, the entire town is on fire and they're shooting all the black people.
Not all of them, Boris. I got one right here. Safe and sound. Doing great.
Okay, my name's not Boris, and they've already killed like 300 of them.
Safe and sound. Fucking safe.
Marky Mark is Sheriff McCullough in Death Race 1921.
Is that a fucking airplane, bro? Could we use it, maybe? To, like, survey?